When a small cap technology company starts setting record performance benchmarks in one of the world's fastest growing industries, you don't just watch, you pay attention. HPQ Silicon has built a reputation for pushing the limits of what's possible in silicon based battery materials, delivering results that most believe we're still years away. The potential impact spans power tools, consumer electronics, telecommunications, military applications, and large scale energy storage, all within a market projected to surpass $45 billion in the coming years. Here to talk about the company's latest production press release, starting production of these batteries, is CEO Bernard Tourillon. Bernard, welcome back, my friend.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, so normally I would ask you, hey, how do you feel? But I think this quote says it all, and it's got 5 questions for me in it, but I want to read the quote because it's pretty powerful. We continue to receive inquiries from global potential customers and are engaging in technical discussions with leading industry players. I mean, that's huge on its own. This confirms the growing interest in our battery technology and HPQ ENDURA cells. That's 2 things there. These interactions have allowed us to refine our specifications to better meet market needs. And with production now underway, we anticipate an acceleration of partnership opportunities as soon as we start delivering. That's a pretty packed quote. That's one of the best quotes I've probably ever read from HPQ Silicon. It's got 5 questions. So I'm going to start from the part A. We continue to receive inquiries from global potential customers. The phone is ringing, it sounds like. Talk to us about what kind of calls you're getting. What kind of inquiries are you receiving from who? I know you can't give specific names, but what kind of inquiries, what kind of geographies, what can you tell us about that?
Well, it comes from a bit all over the place. Also with the geography, it comes from Asia, Europe, North America. And fundamentally it's because we're the only one, or we're one of the few that are offering those level high performance batteries, okay, in a commercial setting of batteries. All right, you have to understand that. So we have something unique. Okay, we have something out there that's within the best, if not the best. So it's it's the highest price selling material. So we're new competitors that coming in. We have to sort of create our credibility and start presenting. And so people are very interested to test our material because the potential and the innovation that it can bring about is there.
Are you surprised by how fast, because again, quote from global potential customers, are you kind of surprised at how fast the market out there is at least recognizing you guys enough to make these inquiries?
Well, yeah, of course, but it's the way the industry works. The industry looks at everything that's set out there, and we basically said that we're going to have commercial 18650 and 21700 batteries that have very high performances and over 1,000 cycle. So that's basically something it's not there. Even some of the best performance that have looked at, between the 300 and the 500 cycles, they die down. Yes, they can continue probably further down, but we're talking about keeping at least 80% of your energy during that time. So that's what really makes it unique.
By the way, side question there. What are you guys going to do about, I think we've talked about in the past, but at some point, do you submit, I know you've got independent third-party analysis right now for your specs, because that was in the press release. But at some point, are you guys going to try and officially hit world record status on the cycle, on the lifespan and the power?
Yes, but that will be on the Gen 4 and the Gen 5 that we're working on. You have to understand that once you do like when we did the Gen 3, okay, the first Gen 3, those ones that I have here, okay, this was done by a lab scale unit capable of doing this. So this was really like super performance driven type of batteries that are done on lab scale. So they're really lab scale results. Okay, what's the difference now is we've gotten an industrial manufacturer, okay, to be able to take our material, put it within his battery, and we get the same results that we had at the lab scale, which is very unique, and it shows more and more batteries in that regard. So that's really the key point that people have to understand. It's if I can bear an example of the fume silica, Okay. Fume Silica 1, the first result that we did at lab scale, got the big company Evonik excited. We signed an LOI. All right. But then now we're going through the painful. So you want to, if you want an idea how fast we're going, this is the idea. Lab scale that we were doing it for fume silica. Okay. Then we had to go build a pilot scale to go do it. Okay. Now through what Novasium has found out, their connection, their abilities, we're already making commercial grade. So we've skipped the going to pilot scale, and we've demonstrated that we can make real commercial. And that the key point and the most exciting factor is in those commercial batteries. Okay, we are repeating. Oh no, we're
Repeating?
repeating. That was the word I was looking for. Sorry, one of those phonetic.
Bernieism.
Yeah, though it's one of those French phonetic accent. When it goes in my head, I go like, I'm not sure. We're repeating the same result in a commercial batteries. Okay, commercial batteries, the runs are longer. There's more batteries being made. So that's really the key phase of it. So because you got to be able to show that you're going to be sure your regular batteries.
You've popped that battery up a couple of times. Do us a favor, because hold it right in front of your shirt, because the background will lose it. But and maybe even move it closer if you can, for everyone to just get a little look. Oh, you're unboxing it right in front of us. It feels like one of those YouTube Christmas videos. All right, so there it is. So people see
So
that it's
those so
actually.
those were our first laboratory, you know, plant. Now we're doing it at commercial level. So the higher
And those
capacity.
and now those are the ones going to be delivered. You're saying end of September.
End of September, we'll have our first batch of those batteries to be able to send to client for them to start testing them. Maybe we'll keep a few to sell to investors that are really want to tinkering along. But this is the one we're going to be starting to looking at creating demand for it, organizing ourselves so that we're being in a position to take larger orders for those batteries, and then we get them made and ship them.
So when you're saying you're starting production,
Mhm.
I want to make sure, especially for new people, it's not like you're starting production and you plan to manufacture 10 million of these and sell 10 million. You're producing a good number, but the
Mhm.
primary purpose of those is to send it to George Com Power Tools or George Com Drones or whatever the case may be. Hey, I love it. I'm a worldwide power tool company. I want to
Mhm.
order 10 million of these. And that the idea is to capture a customer, not to, and then send that to your third party manufacturer who's manufacturing
Mhm.
these right now, who has the capacity to
Yeah.
really ramp it up,
It
right?
and we have to match our capacity. Okay, and when I say our capacity, I mean Novasium's capacity to make the anode material. Okay,
Of
with
course.
the manufacturer's abilities to make batteries. Okay. Now you have to understand that HPQ is starting this with HPQ Endura brand and Endura Plus brand, but Novasium is already doing this. So Novasium is already advanced in those type of discussion. So it's since it's the same batteries. If we have the North America exclusivity, one of us is going to end up starting to get a good order relatively soon, and it's going to start to show the potential. So we have to work within the capacity of how many batteries we can do it, but it's still a significant number of batteries we can do.
Then you go on to say, so going back to that first quote, so now part B, we're engaging in technical discussions with leading industry players.
Mhm.
So question, what kinds of leading industry players? Again, I know you can't name them, but what's the profile of some of these leading industry players? And what I'm really curious about, and I'm sure everyone at home is, what's their feedback? What's their reaction or response when they see what you've got and the kind of performance you're getting?
Well, there's a lot of interest in performance, and then basically does it admit the specific application how it works. But what you have to understand is um, the material we're doing. Okay, right now we're doing 18650 and 21700. Okay, but because we've demonstrated that their material can be easily integrated into standard operating procedures, nothing is going to stop for our material to be used in batch cell that are using for batteries for computers and those type of issues. So there all those type of preliminary discussion ongoing, trying to get those things moving on. The idea of these batteries that we've made, I'll show them again and keep them there longer, okay, was to demonstrate that it could be used at commercial level. Now, what we're doing with this, and Novasium has already received their first batch. and where we're going to receive our first batch, is demonstrated that we can now do them at a commercial capacity. Now we have one bottleneck of capacity is how much material we can do, but it would still allow us to do significant quantities of batteries in the next 20 to 12 months.
Ballpark, like how many get based on your capacity to make your proprietary silicon
I
materials for batteries, for anodes, ballpark.
We will come up with an exact number. I'll say ballpark, probably between 2,000,000 18,650 or maybe 1,000,000 21,700.
Yeah. So you could do okay right now just on that. That would be
Yeah,
enough to get you
yeah,
going.
yeah. You have to remember, we only use about 2.5 grams of our stuff into this. The rest of it is still graphite. So that's why also one of the people that are interested is a graphite manufacturer. Okay. Because we replace a little bit, and that's the point. We're starting some discussion. Some graphite players are more understanding of that possibility than others. Okay. But you add a little bit of our material to your graphite anode material, and suddenly you got a material that's 30% better. So we were starting to have those conversations with different type of players at different type of areas.
Okay, so that begs the question. You're talking to George Com Graphite. You're having these technical discussions with leading industry players. That's George Com Graphite, for example.
Mhm.
And we say, Bernard, love it. Let's get to bed together. Let's get married. We want to start cranking out batteries. What would it take for you to increase your capacity? Like, what's the next level to increase your capacity to produce the silicon materials
Well,
for the batteries? Like, what is it, a $5 or $10 million investment in order to quadruple or quintuple? Like, what does that next level look like? Because look, I know you can spend $100 million and do a billion batteries, but what's the next level investment that you're going to need if George Com Graphite says, "Love it, I got customers all over the world. I want your silicon. I want you to make my batteries better, and then we're going to go after, and then I'm going to sell to all my customers." What does the next incremental level look like in terms of investment and then time? If George Com
um,
Graphite says it today, how much time do you need to get there, and how much money?
well, George Graphite is going to be one that's already making silicon graphite for batteries, right? So he's already making a material that's approved for batteries. So for him, there's not that many things. We just takes his material and put it right into it. To put an idea of scale, okay, we think that if we would have had a 50-ton capacity, a 50-ton per year capacity of making our silicone anode material, okay, we could have enough material for 25 million batteries.
Right.
25, 30 million batteries.
What would that cost?
Ballpark, $5 to $7 million to build.
Wow. Very reasonable. That's what I love about that number. That's a really reasonable capex number, 5 to 7 million. You could reach in the pocket of some of your high net worth friends and they come up with that. All right, good. I'm glad we kind of addressed that because I want to make sure I didn't know it. And I'm sure a lot of people at home were thinking, saying, okay, this is obviously accelerating here. You
Mhm.
know, let's talk about possibilities of your goals. So I'm glad we had that discussion. Next part of the quote. This confirms the growing interest in our battery technology and the cells that you've been putting up, both.
Mhm.
Um, which one's getting more attention right now? And obviously, you want to be the former, right? You want to be the ingredient builder. You don't want to be the end. You don't want to be the manufacturer of the batteries. But for now,
Mhm.
where are you getting more interest? Are you getting more interest in the battery technology, or are you getting more interest on the cells?
I think it's sort of both of them at the same time in a certain way. The fact that we're going to have a batteries to sell, this can be some application. As I said, you are you use an in electric bike to go to work, all right? And, the biggest problem you have is your batteries. How long would it last? How much charge does it give you? Uh, how much power does it give you? Well, you know full well they're using our batteries to replace them. And in that battery pack, there's probably like 70 of those batteries into it. Okay. Um,
7D, 7 0.
70.
Okay.
See, because
Wow.
the reason why they call battery cells, the battery is a assemblage of those cells together combined, and that gives you the full wattage you're looking for in the application in those utilization.
Oh, so
So
power tools might need 20, but the e-bikes might need 70,
yeah,
something like that.
it's just going to be then you need to play around with the electronics that's inside that controls the power wattage to go through for the specific application. But those are all pretty standard in the industry. So once you know a standard type of batteries that does these type of things, gives this amount of power out when it comes out, then you know that it'll be giving you 30% more application through
Next,
power timing. Yeah.
next question. Next question that came from this quote. Again, this is the most dense. It's funny because you're all about energy density, and your quote is probably the most dense quote we've ever seen from me. These interactions have allowed us to refine our specifications to better meet market needs. Give us
Mhm.
an idea of, obviously, if you're having discussions with leading industry players and the interactions are allowing you to refine your specs, you're obviously having deep discussions here to the point that you're refining some of your specs. What kind of improvements have you guys made as a result? Maybe has it been more performance improvement, or has it been more uh, uh, target market improvement, product market fit improvement?
I think it's a 50-50. In a certain way, what you have to understand in the battery industry, okay, is the life cycle of your batteries depend on the application you're doing, you're going to using it, why you need that battery for. So if you need a battery for a power tool, you might need it one specification. If you need battery for the radio system, you might need another thing. If you need a battery for an e-bike, you might need another type of power. If you need a battery for a drone, you might probably require more high power acceleration and those issues. So those are all the issues we're trying to figure out where we are. And at the beginning, you come up with a sort of like a product in between that meets the most of those specifications that can be used in the widest amount of marketplace. Okay. Eventually, then you'll subdivide it with, whatever, I don't know, HPQ ENDURA 21700 A, B, and C, depending on the specific application. That's what we mean. Do we need to make an A, B, or C type of batteries? So the key point comes down to one thing: the savoir-faire, the knowledge, and making the advanced silicone material, okay, required into it. Um, and that's really where we have that specific expertise with Novation.
So then this first set of batteries that's coming in,
Mhm.
that are gonna land at the end of September,
Mhm.
what applications are they best suited for? Like, can you send those right now to the e-bike guy and the power tools guy and the drone guy? Or are they best suited for only one of those applications for now? So you focus on that.
Okay, so let me expand on that. All right. If you look at the data sheet of our batteries, it's a data sheet similar to a lot of other batteries that are being used. So there, it gives a better result. So everybody does a compromise of how they do. And as I said, because you put a lot
Okay.
of those batteries together, sometimes it's the electronics inside the battery. Example given for the military batteries. Okay. There's a specific level of electronics to make sure that the current is XYZ. So it's a mix and match of both of those issues. You can do some specific you can do some specific batteries, but the generic batteries that we're doing right now have multiple application. And then comes down to when you assemble the batteries, which is a series of cells, okay? And it's then the computer-driven logistic of how you play those batteries. Do you need to adjust it or not for it to work better?
That part's out of your hands. That's the
That part is
part
out of
where,
our hand.
okay,
That's
George Calm drones, here it is, but you figure out how you're going to assemble these together in the
mhm.
casing, how you're going to put them together and perform optimally for you. So
Yeah.
you're not going to have to become a maker of batteries or materials, because we're talking about both, for power tools, for drones, and for
No,
uh,
we'll probably make like at one point different ranges of batteries, but we won't go make them specifically unless somebody comes and said with an insane amount of, I want to buy all your capacity of batteries. That's something else.
okay, well, that's a perfect segue into my last question, because in the quote, the last thing you say is, with production underway, we anticipate an acceleration of partnership opportunities as soon as we start delivering.
Mhm.
That sounds very specific. That sounds like you've got a high level of confidence there. You're not saying with production now underway, we're hoping that partnership opportunities will come up as we send out samples, but we'll see how it goes. You're actually saying we anticipate an acceleration partnership opportunities as soon as we start delivery. What do you know that we don't? I know you can't be specific, but what is it that gives you that level of confidence that as soon as you start delivery, you're expecting like partnership opportunities to accelerate?
Well, because not too many people can do, no, actually, not too many people can do commercial quality of these type of batteries with these powers. So it's, of course, it's going to be more and more interesting in what we're doing. And you know, as the reputation grows, as we keep delivering more of those material, I think it will expand.
And I know I want to drill you to get more specific on that, but obviously I can't, and I don't think you'll tell me anything more. But all right, we'll take from that. Is it me, or are you really moving fast towards production? This seems like it's really accelerated. Did you expect to be accelerating at this rate back in April and May?
No, well, my guys at Novation did, but not me. I was, um, but that's the cool part of it. It's probably the realization that okay, to get basically to get our potential clients for our material, okay, excited about our material, and our potential client can be our own competitor in a certain way. You know, it's better to show them, hey, we can do it then better batteries. Then so they're going to start scratching their heads. Wait a minute, if we use their material, we can make those better batteries, and then that might move closer to the goal that we're going into. It's the best way to show that we can be. If you're a disruptor, okay, but you're saying I'm a disruptor, but you know, okay, well, we'll test it in our batteries, and we'll see if it comes along. Who says, okay, we got this battery, it's already better than yours. Do you still want to be? Do you want to play the game of I become a disruptor? Do you want me to become the Netflix, and you guys want to stay as one of your quotes, or you basically want to stay the
Blockbuster?
blockbuster? That's literally what it is, and I think that's where the click occur for us to move faster. Okay, it's because when you go see battery manufacturers, they're very conservative persons.
Yeah, of course. I
They don't
wouldn't
want
want
to.
to disrupt that
They
whole
don't want to
process
take a
unless it,
risk of testing the
no.
material. It doesn't go. But what we've done is we've showed a lab scale it work. We showed now a commercial scale we can do it. And now they're saying, oh, wait a minute. There's a competitor out there that has a special silicone-based material that allows them to put it into it, and it's moving forward. So how do we react to this? Do we partner with us? Do we compete with them? If we can't really compete, we don't know how to make them. You know, so it's sort of a stay tuned type of situation. And I think that's where really the speed up came. Okay. The speed up came because of our realization that following a traditional strategic marketing approach and business development approach, which we're going to build it and it's going to come, okay, put us at a disadvantage that we were dependent on them. Okay. Now we can show them, hey guys, we already know what's a secret for you guys to make those batteries. Here's our ones that are better. Now, if you want our secret to make it better, let's work together for do these type of things. Does that make sense?
Yep. Okay, and three questions down, I've got a devil's advocate question for you on marketing, actually.
Mm-hmm.
But I want to get two rapid answers out of you on rapid questions. One, you mentioned just a couple minutes ago at the beginning of that answer that Novasium expected this rate of acceleration, but you didn't. What is it? What is it gives the Novasium guys? Is it that the European market maybe is more developed, more prospects? Is it that their name is obviously more well known because they've been out there longer than you have? But what is it that gave Novasium the confidence to
Well,
anticipate this level of advancement at this rate?
they're the one that have the most basically hands on what's out there in the industry. Okay. Now, they're expert at this. I'm the CEO of a publicly traded company, so it's not the same level. And we deliberately chose to do it like this. So it is their contact, their expertise that brings it forward. But if you look about it from my position, it makes 100% sense to do it. So that's why they did it. That's why they started first, and then they said, wait a minute, let's bring HPQ at the same speed, okay, for the North American market. This is where we are now. So that's why they expect. That's why they saw it.
We touched on this a bit
Mhm.
earlier, but not. I want to have a specific answer on this. How did the Endura specs? So you got the 4,000, 6,000 milliampere, or and a lifespan approaching 1,000
Mhm.
cycles. Give all of us at home who don't know. I mean, it sounds like a great number, and I don't know, but we have some smart
Mhm.
investors out there who do their due diligence. How does
Yeah,
that compare?
and some of them that do make it fishy, but still, it's like let's be realistic. Um,
How do those specs compare to the current batteries you're competing against? Because you talk about data sheets. I'm going to ask for the if I'm George Graphite or if I'm George Ecom Bikes and I get this data sheet with these specs, am I
mhm.
popping off and saying, "Whoa," or how do you compare? How do you size up?
We know just from the preliminary press release, even we issued the data sheet. Some people called us and said, "Whoa, we've never seen a 21,700 with 6,000 milliamp pack."
Awesome.
Actually, yesterday I was having a discussion with one of our basically, agent big shareholders that really showing a lot of interest, and he was introducing me to another player, and we started to take a look at the data sheet of their batteries, and it looks like ours is better. So now this is how we're going to start to do the revision in those type of situation. But we needed to build a data sheet first.
The data sheets in the press release, the data sheets say if you want copies of data sheets, reach
Hmm.
out to our sales and marketing team with an email address
Right,
there.
right
What's
now,
that?
sales marketing team. Right now, the sales and marketing team is me, but that will have to grow. I'm in discussion with some people
Well,
that are going to come in as commission people.
that's what I'm going to ask you. But
Mhm.
in the meantime, the question I had for you is there any reason why the shareholders can't see the data sheets?
Well, it wasn't really part of the material. If they want to, they just got to write us there, and then we'll send it to them. It's not really like a top secret type of material. But at one point, you know, if somebody wants to fiddle and buy some, sure, we will send them to them. But sometimes when you put out too much information, it gives some people too much information for them to come and ask silly questions. So the fact is, we're keeping this very professional. If you want some, you send us an email, then we know who you are. We know who has received the data sheet, and well, that's the same thing. Like I
Okay.
wanted to download a data sheet from another company, and it says, "Oh, please give us your name, your information, all the information." So you gotta give out some information to get the data sheet. If I push it out public, then I don't get
If you
that
see
feedback
an
of
inquiry
information.
from George Com Graphite, they're totally legit. Send the data
No, you
sheet.
won't. You won't get the data sheet. You'll be on the blacklist.
Okay, marketing. I want to talk about that because
Mm-hmm.
we've touched on this many times. You've got two sides. You've got the material side, and you've got the
Mm-hmm.
actual cells that you've been holding up this entire
Mm-hmm.
interview, right?
Mm-hmm.
That devil's advocate. And you even said by your own, you don't got a marketing team yet,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm assuming the Novacium side does. But that's besides the point.
Both of us are looking at building a sales team.
Well, that's my question. How do you market to both sides of the market? How do you do marketing to both of these markets at the end of the day? What do you guys are you guys thinking conferences? Are you guys to like for example, we've talked about off camera. I said, man, I would identify my 10 or 20 best prospect customers on both sides, 10 of materials, 10 of the other. And I would send them I would send them 50 that say, hey, here are my specs, here's my data sheet, here's my
Mhm.
numbers. That's what I would do is say, we're better than what you've got, but that's just me. What are you going to do for marketing? Because on the one hand, you've talked about this is a $45 billion market. Great.
Mhm.
But that also makes it hard to market to a $45 billion market. There's a reason why you and I can't sell running shoes and Nike can, right? Doesn't matter how
Mhm.
big the market is, you got to be able to reach all of it. What do you do? Like,
Well, first of all, you have to be realistic. Remember in my press release, what did I say? Okay, if we get 1% of the market, okay, so you have to be realistic how you do, and you got to be strategic where you basically attack. Now we're seeing some interest. We know that there's going to be preliminary type of clients, going to be military that needs to sell. So those are the type of clients we're going to be attacking. We're going to be attacking specific industry. Just you and I, we had a discussion about a drone manufacturer that had shown some interest. but we still got to go through those type of decisions. So yes, we're going to identify them, okay, and get the things advancing. But we're looking at few specific. We're going to be looking at trying to get at least a few lead orders that are going to start to show us, and that's what we're really working on right now. And once we have one of those lead orders in, then it'll start moving forward. With regard to the material, in a certain way, it is our competitors that are going to become our clients for that. Because, if they have a capacity to make 18650 batteries, or 21700, and they see us with a better material, they might want to figure a way for us to supply them the material for them to do the type of batteries. And then it's a completely different type of ball game, but they'll have already a distribution channel. So it's by becoming a competitor of them in a certain way, it sort of becomes easier to sell our other application that we're looking to sell.
By the way, to clarify for everyone watching or listening, you and I had a conversation about drone manufacturer. You're not telling me the name of the drone manufacturer. I referred you to a drone manufacturer, made the
Yes.
connection, I want to make sure people don't think, hey, is George finding out names? No, I actually scoped it out, referred, made an email introduction, conversation
Mhm.
happening. I don't know where
Yeah.
that's going to go. It's out of my hands, but I want to make sure people don't think I'm
Mhm.
getting, information come my way. I'm helping the company by making the introduction. Um,
Oh,
all right.
but you'd be surprised. A lot of shareholders do contact me with information, give me names, give me contacts, talk about these type of people. There is a positive feedback of information. So,
Um, Last question. Any further thoughts about doing a special edition box set for shareholders? We're the first.
um, probably we'll take a look at doing that. But we're probably going to see how. No, we're probably our first set of batteries. We're probably going to be send more to industrial client at first, but after that, we're probably going to do it for a second set. Um, there is a question on the Gorocom that was made for me, right? Did you see it?
I didn't see it because I
Uh,
just got back from vacation. So I was
oh,
even
that's
today
your
you caught me off
excuse.
guard a
That's
little
your
bit, but I was
excuse.
having love doing this. But what's the question? Do
Yeah,
you want to screen share it? Do you want to screen share the question, or do you want to just read it out?
no, I'll read it out. It's on Agora. Okay, it's
Who's it from?
HPQ 808008.
All right.
Okay. Well, first thing, the congratulation, blah blah blah. You guys can read it. Don't really need to. My question are about the specific SiOX material incorporated in HPQ Endura battery cell, plus battery cell. Specifically, where, by whom, and how, what reactor is SiOX material incorporated into the anode graphite produced? This is a key point that I would like to address.
You want to
Okay.
read that question again, just a touch slower, but for everyone to really,
Yes. Yes. My questions are about the special SiOX material incorporated into the HPQ Endura battery cells. Specifically, where, by whom, and how, what reactors is the SiOX material incorporated into the anode graphite material produced? Where? Europe, North America. By whom? Is Novasium Engineering producing it? Do they have a reactor? That's been bugging me. So, and I understand the question, right? It's something we have to understand. Okay. First of all,
break it down for us.
yes. First of all, at the beginning of our thing, so this is probably an investor from a long time, we mentioned SiOX as the material for the batteries. Then we gradually switch the definition to advanced silicon anode material. Okay. So the SiOX, and I think even in the press release, I went a long point when we filed the patent. We went a long point to explain the SiOX is the feedstock, okay, to make the silicon anode material, which are other steps that are done. All right. So at this specific moment, okay, we acquire the SiOX and then we have it prepared the way we want to make our special silicon anode material. Okay. And at Novasium, we prepare the composite material to make the silicone-based anode material, but it's basically mixing the graphite and those issues. Those are specific expertise that we've developed. That's what I mentioned.
That's your proprietary magic
That's a
right there.
proprietary knowledge, but we've already issued a press release saying so. You have to understand that SiOX is the feedstock to do this. Now, at this specific stage, okay, who does it for us is sort of irrelevant in a certain way because SiOx is a material that is used in different areas for different application. Now, in the coming weeks, I'll be able to explain more about how our plan is going forward, but you'll just because there's something tracking in regard to the SiOx because SiOx is a material that is presently being made only one way, which is a slow, very complicated batch process. Okay. And but that is the feedstock agreement. And SiOx is a mixture of Si and SiO2. Won't get into too much details. So at this specific moment, okay, our engineered silicon anode material is manufactured, or as we say, it was imagined in France, and it's actually being produced and mixed in France at this specific moment at Novation. Okay, and from then on, it is shipped to our manufacturer to be done, but we keep the complete control in the black box. So I can't say more into details about this, but at this specific step, as I said, the quantities that we're doing, because we only put 2.5 grams into it, are not very, very big. But it's actually the same process that many companies that have done this are advancing. So I just wanted to address this. Like people wanted, do we
And
need
the
to QR?
SIOX itself is not the magic. It's what you do with it afterwards when you run it through your
Mm,
proprietary magic.
yeah, yeah. All the other proprietary magic. But the key point to understand is SiOx, okay, is a much more valuable material than Si ever was. So it's sell, and we said that it sell for 5 times, 10 times the price of Si. So because it's complicated, it's a batch process, those type of issues to do. So I hope I answered the question. I know it's been bugging you, and you know.
That sounds like it.
Yeah.
I love the fact that, guys, for everyone watching, for everyone
Mhm.
listening, right? This is the power of engaging on Agoracom. I've tried to say this over and over again to everybody. First, it's civilized. Let's not give energy to platforms that have all the garbage and nonsense on it, because as the company grows and things happen, you don't want to give those platforms and those users, I don't care about the platforms, but those users, the nefarious bad guys, notoriety. You don't do it in Agoracom because that's where it's clean and civilized and you can ask tough questions, but civilized. The second thing is, look, right here on air. And by the way, Bernard, I didn't even know there's a question on Agoracom because I haven't been on Agoracom today because it's just my first day back. So I didn't know you never mentioned to me you were going to do that. So obviously I don't know if you saw it in real time, but for the users, for the investors, for the shareholders, this doesn't happen anywhere else. This doesn't happen anywhere else where a shareholder posts a question on the day of an important press release and the company's doing its interview and in real time is taking the question off of Agoracom and answering it. So all I'm saying is that's a pretty powerful reason to continue you have two powerful reasons now to continue the engagement in the whole process of Agoracom.
Yeah,
Last words to you,
and
Bern. Oh,
okay.
go ahead, buddy. Say it.
There's a few other people are asking me questions not related to this. I will answer them, but they'll probably have to understand I have to be very sensitive in the way I reply to those questions. But they're more related to the pyrogenesis sale of HPQ shares. But I'll answer them.
All right. So those discussions you can have there online.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, Last question for you. It's more to hand it
Mhm.
off. Usually I ask you the question at the beginning, but that quote was so dense and powerfully packed, I had to start with that. Usually I ask you at the beginning, so I'm going to ask you at the end. Here we are, August the 14th. How happy are you with the progress of this vertical inside of HPQ? Because you got multiple. But with this news and what we're talking about today, how happy are you and how happy should shareholders be at the progress of this vertical?
I am very, very happy, and every shareholder should be very happy and excited. As I explained, in a much more condensed factor of time, we've replicated what the you have to understand that we entered this battery business in 2024. Okay. By the end of 2024, we had made a material that was record breaker and lasted 1,000 cycle, kept the energy over 80%. That's unheard of. Okay, that's literally unheard of. I know somebody's going to come up to me and says, I found this half cell batteries that beats it. I don't care. We're talking about full size commercial size batteries. Then the follow-up thing that we just did is we went from a lab scale manufacturer, which basically are designed to do prototype commercial batteries. Okay, and we then demonstrated our material from the prototype can work at a commercial scale batteries. What that means is any other manufacturer now is going to start to realize, as we start having our data sheet, as we start selling those material, that they're going to have to figure a way to get our material in their batteries if they want to stay competitive. So maybe our entry in the battery cell business will last long, will not last long, be more focused, but it's really focused there. It makes it much more visible as a competitor. Okay, so that's literally what it is.
Bernard, congrats to you and Dr. Krim and the Novasium team. I love the progress, and hopefully I asked you tough enough questions and real problem questions for everybody at home to understand it. But more importantly, I know my questions, I know your answers, spawn off more questions, more answers, and they also spawn off more jokes about you and me from the guys that don't like us, which are highly entertaining. But congratulations, thank you. And by the way, I remember reading a while back on other interviews, there's an over-under. I haven't seen anything because, like I said, I landed last night, and the over-under was 40 minutes on a previous interview. So we're at 41:32. So if there's another over-under, then whoever took the over won on this one. But this has been one of our longer lasting ones because usually we're 30 to 35. So we went a little longer. Have a great day, everybody. Thanks for joining us. We hope you're enjoying your summer. And Bernard, thanks for making our summers eventful and giving us some really fun, great distractions, great news, great developments. And I can't wait to have you back on next time. I'm not going to ask you if you have fume silica, but I'm assuming everything's going great. And I hope we're going to be getting that phone call at some point saying, "Hey, George, let's get on Zoom." But until then, thank you, Bernard, and to everyone at home. Thank you. Have a great day. See you next time.
Hey, small cap fam. I hope you loved this interview because more than a dozen people were involved in its production for the sole purpose of making you happy. If so, can you take a moment to support both our awesome guest company and Agoracom? Your engagement means the world to us. First, if you enjoyed this video, give us a thumbs up by tapping that like button. It's a small gesture that helps this interview reach even more potential investors to discover today's guest. Second, we would love to hear your feedback on this interview, so please leave a comment below. Be sure to keep it clean, but feel free to poke fun at George. If you loved what you heard on today's video and want to dig into our guest company right away, take a look at the links in the description below. And while you're at it, hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell to never miss another great Agoracom small cap video. Thank you so much. We couldn't do any of this without you. Make sure to come back soon.